Hello, Lee. How are you today?
Great. So excited to talk with you today, Russell.
I'm so excited because this is the first time I think, when maybe the second time we're talking when it's not a six-figure author experiment related thing. So, do you want to introduce everyone who might not know you?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Lee Savino. I am the author of over 69 romance novels, and I have been writing and authoring for 10 years this year.
Yeah,
And I am still doing it. I just turned in a 101,000 word book to my editor yesterday, and I'm so happy.
nice. I love
And I
it.
run the Millionaire Author Mastermind on Facebook, which is a great group if you're an author and you like money and you want to talk about scaling to six and seven figures. And I'll give you some of my links. And we have an awesome podcast together, the Six Figure Author Experiment. I love money and I love talking to authors, and we just blend that.
Yeah, but you also are really great about mindset and about like helping people clear blocks. And you run masterminds and stuff with like Renee, your writing partner, and you have a really interesting kind of origin story about what was blocking you to like even becoming a writer in the past. So like, tell us about blocks.
Yeah, so I went to school. My parents told me that I had to go to college. I went to college to become a creative writer. I took English with a concentration in creative writing. I chose the college based on their English program and their creative writing.
Hmm.
And I wrote a book. It was a werewolf romance, of course. My professors loved it. It won an award with some money attached to it. And then I graduated and I slammed the door on my writing career. I was like, well, can't do that. Got to get a job. And it really was just because my parents kind of were influencing me and said, oh, you have to go to college. Oh, then you get a job. My dad called me 2 weeks before graduation and said, hey, can you change your major to business? And I was like, no, dad. And honestly, I was writing in high school and I could have just been a writer. In 2008, the Kindle came out. So, right around the time I was slamming the door shut on my author career, people were transforming their lives as indie authors. And being indie is my absolute favorite. And it just took me a little longer to find my way back. And what happened is in November 2014, I actually went to a hypnotherapist to help me make more money at the sales job I was at that I really didn't want to make more money at. I just wanted money. And I figured, oh, yeah, sales, okay. And whatever the hypnotherapy meditation was, it removed my block completely. I walked out of there and I was like, I'm going to just upload all my books to Amazon because I was still writing and I got covers on Fiverr. Like, nothing stops you from getting what you want except you.
Yeah,
If I had just
absolutely.
left the door open a crack, I would have just moved towards it. It would have been so simple. And I give this analogy all the time. It's like, I have to go to the store. And you don't think, well, I'll have to move my knee and my leg and take a step and then do that 100 more times to get down the stairs to my car and then in the car, seatbelt, turn signal, turn it on. You're not thinking about all that. You just say, I'm going to the store. You probably have a little image pop into your mind if you're visual or not. And then you just kind of get your way there. And if there's a red light when you turn into traffic, you don't go, oh, well, that's it.
Never
Can't
going
go
to
to
the
the
store
store.
again.
But we do this for ourselves in areas that we believe there's some reason we were taught or we absorbed from the environment or the pastors or pop culture that we're not supposed to move towards it. Like if you were told from birth, if people who go to the store are evil, people who go to the store are aren't kind, they're going to hell, whatever, then you probably would just never go to the store. You would grow your
Right.
own food. But because you don't have that, you don't even think about how to get there and all the 50 million little steps. Oh, I have to
Right.
make sure my heart beats and I use my turn signal and my brakes. You don't think about that. You just go. So I run Money Magic with Renee Rose, and we're all about like, well, how are you stopping yourself? Because you might have your foot on the gas, but if you're jerking up the emergency brake, you're not going anywhere. You're expending a ton of energy, you're burning out, you're exhausted, and you're like, why isn't it working? But all you need to do is put the emergency brake down. And then you don't even have to put the gas pedal down that much.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. I was because I run this membership called Capitalist as well, and we were in there yesterday being and I said, I don't care if you make bad choices or choices that go against what like your best interests even are. What I really want you to know is that you are going against your best interests so that when or like that you are doing something that is has almost no chance of success. I'm not saying you will not succeed doing it. What I am saying is if you do a thing that like is unlikely to succeed and you do not succeed, you can't beat yourself up over it. You can't beat yourself up over trying it. You can't beat yourself over the whole thing because like for instance, like most people want their first book to be a New York Times best-selling book. And it's like it might. Like there are a very small handful of people whose debut books become New York Times best-selling books. That is possible. It is unlikely that you will do that. So, like, if you go for that goal and you become a Wall Street Journal best-selling author, or you sell 500 copies, or you sell 50 copies, like, you've still put the book out. You've still done all the things with the intention, but like, you can't beat yourself up because, like, that is such a minuscule possible goal. I love it for you. I'll love it for you. I'll be the first one cheering for you to do it and have that mindset. But like, you have to know that it is not likely. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're not going to hit New York Times and you're going to be like, oh my God, my life is ruined. And
I I think that if your goal is to be a New York Times author, that's fine. It's just why. I once
right,
coached someone, she said, well, I want to be full time. I said, well, wait a second. New York Times right now, you get a trad deal to hit it. That's fine, but you give away all your money,
right,
most of your money. But you want to be full time. Which one do you really want? She wanted freedom. She wanted
right,
money and free. She didn't even want money. You just want freedom. You actually just want the feeling.
right,
And so, yeah, go for New York Times. But if it makes you collapse and you're like, well, I'm a failure and I can never write again, then don't go for it. My God, go
right.
for something that you actually want and that will make you happy. And I made $50 my first month publishing on Amazon in January 2015. And I was ecstatic. And
Yeah,
I had bad covers, Russell.
yeah,
None of those books exist online in the same format.
sure.
And that's fine. I'm
Hmm.
so proud of them. I'm so proud of myself.
Same. Yeah,
And I was
absolutely.
so happy. And honestly, I am so proud of every single book I've written. But there have been times I've really beaten myself up. And the one I just turned in, I was on a journey and I really, really was kind to myself while writing it. And I wrote some brilliant, wacky stuff. And my best friend beta read it, loved it. And I was over the moon. And I was like, I feel like I've already succeeded. You could hand me New York Times. This book could hit New York Times. It also doesn't have to because I already feel so awesome.
When I think about blocks, the thing that I'm of two minds of is like it's great to have a big goal. I love a big goal. I love a big goal for you. But like the problem is if you put all of this value on this goal and only hitting it, then like what happens when you don't? If you can just like be like, great, I didn't hit New York Times bestselling author, amazing. I like it's not going to block you, then
Yes.
amazing. But like it often suddenly does.
Yes, it can because nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so.
Yeah, I have a friend who for about a year was trying with every launch to hit USA Today best-selling author. And she's like she kept texting me and she's like, "Oh, I didn't hit it." I was like, "How many books did you sell?" She's like, 7,000. It's like, "Okay." She's like,
That is, by the way, that qualified her to hit the USA Today. They're just culling the list at this point.
"Yeah, but like this was like I don't even remember like maybe it was 5,000 or 3, maybe it was 3,000. I don't know what it was, but
Okay,
it was
okay.
like it was a number that like was amazing. Like 3,000 copies of your book the first week as an
That's
indie
that's
is
awesome.
incredible.
Yeah, I'll
And
take it.
but like she kept beating herself up over it. But she also kept doing it. She kept writing the book and she kept making the goal and like it didn't stop her. It kept being this thing though that like blocked her. And then she got it. And then she's like, "Oh, well, that was only with a 99-cent book. Now I have to do it with a full price
Oh,
book
oh,
and
yeah,
blah
yeah,
blah blah."
yeah. Okay.
And
So
you're like, "Okay." But like she kept going, but she refused to look at the like having the best year of her writing career by like magnitudes every year for like 3 years as she was going through this. But again, she did keep trying for it and it didn't block her, which is like it's a very big difference, but it's like, hey, if you have a big goal that doesn't block you and it can move push you forward, great. If it blocks you, then blocks are not great.
well, I think it did block her because she's blocking her own happiness. She said, "When I hit this goal, I'll be happy." Then
Mhm.
she hit it, and then she said, "Well, I can't be happy because now she moved the milestone." And it's like an Olympic athlete who gets gold and then the next morning wakes up and is depressed.
Right. Yeah,
So
what is the thing about silver? Like the most depressed people in medaling are silver medalists because they almost won gold, and the the happiest are bronze because they were one away from not even medaling.
may we all have the happiness of a bronze medalist then.
Right. Yeah,
Let me show you what I keep on my desk.
sure.
I don't know if you can see this.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's the huge fruit salad.
that's little me, and my papa love to make fruit salads, and it is a reminder that all that my happiness requires is a big bowl of fruit.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Right?
Yeah.
Really?
Okay, so
Yeah.
to get back on track.
Okay.
Well, we are like, let's say let's coach someone through a block now. Like, how would
Let's
you get
do
someone
it.
through
Let's
a
do it.
block?
Okay, that's good. Thank you. I know. I was like, let's stay on track, but I don't know how. So when I talk about my author journey, and I have a talk called My Path to Seven Figures, where I talk about the ups and downs. The biggest block was in the beginning. I didn't let myself be an author. I was still writing, and I was still writing books, so I literally was an author. I just didn't allow myself to publish them. And that's okay, because I'm now 10 years in and everything's gravy. But if you are listening to this and you're like, well, how do I begin? I have a couple little practical tips. One is don't slam the door shut on your dream. Just leave it open a crack. Okay? Because if you say, I want to go to the store, or I want to be a surfer, or I want to be an author, the trick is to not slam that door shut and say, oh, I could never do that. Okay? Because then your brain says, oh, our identity is someone who never goes to the store then. And we will defend ourselves, our identity, your whole body, your nervous system is fighting to keep you alive, and considers your identity as part of you. So if you say I'm not that surfer, that's not me. I'm not a surfer. It is like, great, that's your identity. We will fight to keep you alive. And every time you even touch a surfboard, you're going to feel weird. Your body will make you feel weird. Okay. This is a powerful system and you can use it for your benefit. Now, every time you look at an author, a New York Times bestselling author, a career author, look at the screen and look at my face right now. And I want you to say this: I'm like her. She's like me. I want you to say, that's me. Oh, yeah, that's me. Oh, yeah, I'm just like that. That's me. I want you to tell your body, your nervous system, that your identity is author or millionaire author or New York Times bestselling author, whatever you want. And I want your subconscious to start fighting for you. That's the emergency brake going down. We're moving forward. So you can do this with money because a lot of people say, I want money, but they've spent all their life looking at billionaires and saying, they're awful. I would never do that. And maybe, yes, there are things about their morals that you will not take on, but the money, I would love more of my friends to be billionaires and be kind and be generous, whatever.
Can I tell
So,
you a thing? Can I tell you a thing
yes.
that Renee told me in the middle? Like she like broke my brain because I was telling her. once, I don't want to waste my luck by picking up like $1 on the floor. I want to like save it. And she said, "What do you think luck thinks about that? Like, you think luck's gonna like keep coming back to you if you keep like avoiding it and like treating it like that? Or do you think like luck wants you to pick that thing up so it will come and be more abundant?" And I
It's
was like,
luck begets luck. Money, once you have money, it's so easy to make more money. And even Jesus talked about this in the parable of the talents. Like you don't hide it and bury it in the backyard. You don't do that with your money. You invest it and then it generates more and then you become a billionaire. Yay. So I want you to keep the door cracked a little bit. And then I want you to look for people who are doing what you want to do in the way you'd like to do it. And then when you see them doing that, I want you to say, that's like me. So your mission is, and I just gave this homework to my 7-figure author course students. I said, your mission is to find one author you admire that you think of as a big author. They don't have to write in your genre. Find them, follow them on socials, sign up for their newsletter, and every time you see them, you're going to say, oh, she's like me. I'm like her. She's like me. She just got her article published in the New York Times about all of her books and her series. That's me. That's like me. Oh, that's like me. And this is so cool because it actually is normalizing and calming your nervous system. Just imagining it, it creates a pathway of safety. And that's really important. We just took my son, he really wanted to do robotics club. And my husband took him there yesterday, and my son shut down. Like just, and Justin was like, I don't know what to do. Brought him home. I was like, oh, they're back early. And we talked about it, and I was like, great, let's go again next week as a family. He doesn't have to join, he doesn't have to participate. We don't have to stay for more than 5 minutes. We're all going, even my little daughter, even though she's not old enough to be there, we're all just gonna go because robotics is cool and we're gonna just normalize it. And if he
"Hmm,
just decides not to do the club, it's fine, but he said he wanted to. And we need to make sure his nervous system knows it's safe. And we didn't do that. And he shut down for whatever reason. It could be that the one of the adult volunteers reminded him of his mean teacher that he's having a struggle with. It could have been that one of the kids looked at him weird and it reminded his nervous system of a kid that looked at him weird in kindergarten. We don't even have to figure this out. We just can make it safe. And I want to do that for anyone who wants to make $1 million from their book. I want them to feel like writing books is safe, making money is safe. There's a lot in there. That's all we have time for. There's a lot to unpack there, but leave the door open a crack. Don't slam it shut. And Heather Hildenbrand actually says this. She says, you have unlimited doors. Your only job is to not lock them.
yeah, absolutely. I love it. I love it." And I, it's funny because I was talking, when I first started working with you, I had a big block about like success specifically, and then I started seeing, I started leveling up my network. And the thing that happens when we level up your network is you start seeing people who you used to be idolized, be human,
Yes.
and you start seeing that like, if anything, there is an inverse relationship between people having their stuff together and like success. It's not you specifically,
Yeah, no, no, hot
but
mess
like
heroin.
but like
Yes.
I said that to somebody, and I feel like it's like the thing that I've said that like resonated the most recently because everyone is like, I can't be an author until. And I was
Yeah.
like, let me tell you a little bit about, and like I could pick any one of 100 of my friends and like the block that they are facing now, and you'd be like, that is the, no offense to them, that is like the silliest block I've
Yes.
ever heard. And I'm like, I know, but like we
We all
all
have our own
have them.
stuff.
We all like, there are no perfect humans. And like, guess what happens the day after you get the New York Times? You worry if you're going to be 2 weeks. Wonder if you're going to be on it for the third week, for the
Yeah. And
10th
if
week.
you're not, you beat yourself up and you cry. I made 1.1 million in 21 or 22. And I made 900,000 the following year and I felt like a failure because I had joined this group of high roller authors and they would publish their incomes and I was watching people making several $100,000 a month and I wasn't. I was only making 70 and I felt like a failure. And it's fine because I might have been burnt out and needed to not think about money and just take a freaking break. So it's all good. I've been on the healing journey, but I also know that I could have just chillaxed. I could have just been like, you know what? I don't have to join the robotics club. I'm just going to go hang out. And I would have learned, obviously, I would have absorbed stuff. I would have learned stuff. They were getting trad deals. I would have learned how to navigate that process if I wanted one, whatever. But I also am fine and alive and made 700 grand last year and it's all good, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm rested and healed. So, all this to say, when you leave the door open a crack, then you start to look for people who are doing it the way you want to do it. Then you join a tribe. And
Right.
just by showing up to this, you you see us on Zoom and our faces are like right up in yours. And your body is like, oh, they're our tribe now. Like this happens automatically. So you can join a Facebook group like the Millionaire Author Mastermind that I run and just lurk. In
Yeah.
fact, that's probably good for you to do. Like, don't even post. You're just quietly lurking, stalk some people in there who are smart and you look up to, listen to what they say, see if it resonates, affirm, oh, that's like me. Oh, she has a newsletter, I have a newsletter, that's like me. She wrote a book, I wrote a book, that's like me. Your brain will automatically do this. They'll start to be like, these are the ways that we're alike. And then they'll say, oh, I hired this cover artist and was excellent. And instead of your emergency break coming up, like I could never hire that cover artist, you're like, well, let me just check it out. Oh, she's all booked up, but she's pretty reasonable. Oh, there's a wait list. Oh, let me get on the wait list. And then you get an email in 2 weeks. She said, hey, I have an opening. Is anyone ready now? And you're like, oh, me. And then suddenly you're using a cover artist that a seven-figure author uses, and your branding and your packaging up levels, which you can do at any time.
Right.
And then more people buy your book, and you have a little extra cash to do the next step in your millionaire author journey. And it's all fine. And if you collapse and go, I can't, blah, no, no, never, it's fine too. Just get on the designer's newsletter and see their covers and be like, oh, I like that. I like that. And just chill. Just don't slam the door.
Yeah. Monica, when we started working together, said, you can just short circuit all of these like blocks, not these blocks, but like all of these things that are set up to prevent you from doing that thing with money. And it's like, you could just like join a mastermind that like you can go to a conference. Like, I know you can't just go to a conference, but like you could go to a place like Author Nation or whatever, the right when we had the Writer MBA conference or like whatever, and be like, okay, like I'm now here. And by being there, you are there. And
Yeah.
people are very kind when you're in person. They're kind. Writers are generally kind, but like they're very kind in person. And suddenly you're the person that's like hanging out with this thing and you get introduced. And like one of the coolest things about hanging out with successful people is they have a lot of needs and they have a lot of big ideas and they generally have no clue how to do any of them. They're just
And
like,
then
I
you
want to do
say,
this like thing. And you can be like, I
I
know
was
how to
like,
do this thing.
I can run this anthology. Or Russell was like, I could do comics. I do comics all the time, Lee. And I'm like, I've been dreaming of one. And now we're doing a comic. And so this all moves you. And then, of course, your tribe. I'll never forget. I was at Book Bonanza. And this is so mean. I highly respect her, but a very big author, let's just say, like a huge author whose name you know was in the elevator with me. And I was like, should I say something? Should I be like, hi, are you this author? And she spilled coffee on herself. And I was like, okay, don't. She was like, oh my gosh. And her husband was like, oh, I'm right here. It's fine. But I was like, wow, okay. Um,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna like embarrass her in that moment. I would feel a little like, ah, but also how relatable. And I needed to see that.
right.
Like,
Well, I remember the thing as we start working towards wrapping up is one of the things that started me on doing self-publishing and doing this thing was watching my publishers that I had contracts with release my books terribly, just like so bad. And I said to myself, I don't know if I can release a book like Simon and Schuster, but like I can at least do it this bad.
yes. Yes. And that's my final tip is if you want to be an author, read a bad book because a good book will inspire you and a bad book will motivate you and you will
Yeah.
sit down and write your book.
Yeah. I had a friend who now has a very successful series and it's lovely. And I saw at Nink last year. But I remember 20 years ago, when I was making my only movie that I've ever directed and produced and done all that stuff. She was one of the actors in it, and she'd written 26 books at that point. And I was like, well, why aren't any of them? Have you released any of them? Have you done anything with it? Have you? And she's like, no, they're not good enough yet. I'm getting my MFA or something. And then she had a whole nother career as a photographer. And we lost touch for a while. I lost my Facebook account. I see her at this show, at this show, and I was like, like she'd written 30 books or so before she ever put them out. She's like, you inspired me. And I'm like, that's ridiculous because like you inspired me because like you had 28 books that like you never put out. And I was like, always
Oh,
I felt like I was chasing like that number. If I just put them out, then like that would be something.
I love it. And it's all fine because she got her books out, like
Yeah. And they're
success.
wonderful. They're
Yeah. And I always think about Grandma Moses, and I was in my 20s and I was like, I'm either going to do this or I'm going to be Grandma Moses because I'm going to have kids and then just put it off and put it off and put it off. And that's fine because Grandma Moses ended up very successful, but I wanted to be a writer now. And
right.
I am a writer now. And if you're watching this, you can be a writer and an author and you can be published now. We're in a permission market. You do not need a gatekeeper. The gatekeepers are there if you want them, but you do not need them. You can give yourself your own validation now, and you can be an author now. You can give yourself permission, and I hope you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember when I started producing anthologies, one of the things I made sure to tell everyone was like, you're all published authors now. All of you, every single one of you has been traditionally published when I put it out. And like, you can, if you don't, like, there's so many ways to like
I
give
love that.
yourself permission, but like, yeah, I love that. Well,
Yeah, and we look at other people and we're like, well, why are they? They're not better than me. No, they're not. They just gave themselves permission. Literally, they just left the door open a crack.
yeah, things
It's
are find outable. Like, yeah,
yes.
awesome. I love it. All right. Any final thoughts before we
That's
get out of
it.
here?
Go read a bad book, y'all. And bad is in the eye of the beholder. You could read one of mine. If you hate it, then it's bad and it'll inspire you to write, and you're welcome.
I love it. Thank you so much, Lee.
Thank you.